All right. What's up, everybody? My name is Michael Music, and I'm currently 23 years old, and we're gonna be talking today about one of the most, really interesting principles of Think and Grow Rich, and that is the chapter on faith, right? So, this is going to be a very powerful conversation, especially, for me personally, it's been, I think, my third or fourth time coming back to this book and reading the same chapter over. So, I'm really excited to take a look at it again and see what else I realized in this chapter, and that's going to be what we're talking about today. So I want to just start this off, right? I'm reading Think and Grow Rich off my phone right now and sharing with you like some of the highlighted texts that I really stood out to me. And in the ebook, it explains that faith is a state of mind which may be induced by auto suggestion. Okay, so we're going to talk about what is faith, right? Like, are we talking about religion, or are we talking about true faith and what it really means to believe, right? So I want to let you know up front, this type of faith is different than what religion you have, right? It's not the same as that. This is, do you truly believe, and can you back your burning desire with this belief so that you can really earn riches? Okay, so our definition of faith is that it's a state of mind. Keep that in handy, right? Faith is a state of mind, okay, which may be induced by auto suggestion. All right. So what is a state of mind, right? We talk about how this comes up repeatedly through Think and Grow Rich. And there's a way to actually create faith, right? It's not going to come right away, but you can create faith through the principle of auto suggestion. So that's going to be the conversation today. Okay. Um, Now I'm gonna read some beginning openers, and we'll just have a little convo about that, right? So faith. Now he says visualization and belief in the attainment of desire. Now this is the second step toward riches. Okay. So Napoleon Hill says that faith is the head chemist of the mind. When faith is blended with the vibration of thought, the subconscious mind instantly picks up the vibration, translates it into its spiritual equivalent, and transmits it to infinite intelligence, as in the case of prayer. Right? So when you blend faith with your vibration of thought, with what you're thinking of, the subconscious mind, which is the medium between the conscious mind and infinite intelligence, will pick up that vibration and send it off to infinite intelligence in the case of prayer. So he goes on to say that the emotions of faith, love, and sex are the most powerful of the major positive emotions. So when these three are blended, they have the effect of coloring the vibration of thought in such a way that it instantly reaches the subconscious mind, where it is then changed into its spiritual equivalent. So think about this, right? The three emotions, faith, love, and sex. When the three are blended together, they have this effect of whatever you're thinking about can can get transmuted right to the subconscious mind and sent off to infinite intelligence. Right? We're elevating our thinking so that we can get rich. So, furthermore, he says that love and faith are psychic, related to the spiritual side of humanity, and sex is purely biological, related only to the physical. Okay, now to repeat, he says the mixing or blending of these three emotions has the effect of opening a direct line of communication between the finite mind of man, or the finite thinking human mind, and infinite intelligence. Right? So this is not, a sentence to be taken lightly. We're talking about opening up a direct line of communication between your own thinking mind and infinite intelligence, where, all the answers to everything you need are. So, so what do we do with that, right? What do we do with that information? Well, you gotta just realize, okay, there's three emotions, that will literally elevate your vibration of thought. And the fact that we have just stated that you can directly communicate with infinite intelligence through mastering this principle, with mastering blending these three emotions, right? That's so deep. It is so much deeper than how it comes out and how it sounds, right? This is literally talking to infinite intelligence here. Okay, so now we're going to chat about how to develop faith. Okay, so I'm just going to read, some of the highlighted paragraphs I have in this chapter. So Napoleon Hill says that faith is a state of mind which may be induced or created by affirmations or repeated instructions to the subconscious mind through the principle of autosuggestion. Okay, so if you don't have faith now, that's okay, right? You have this book is going to give you practical steps to develop faith. And just in my words, right? Faith is created through repetition of thought, through repeating your goals to yourself to the point where you get your conscious goal. Remember yesterday we talked about, writing your goal card down and turning it into the physical. Right now the goal is to continue to repeat that, to continue to repeat our definite major purpose until it is properly planted in our subconscious mind, right? And then boom, you start believing it. It becomes everything you think about, right? So then a burning desire backed by faith, right? You can do literally what you set your mind to when you have those two in together. So this is really powerful stuff, right? Remember, the whole purpose of every one of my videos is to help you get what you want, right? I'm not here to sell you on doing what I do. I'm not here to sell you that you should do this, do that, do this business idea, etc. I'm here to sell you on the fact that whatever it is that you want, whatever your goal card was that you have written down, it is possible to truly get that. And it is through following these 13 principles here. It is literally, it doesn't matter whether you want a brand new car, a brand new apartment, you need a burning desire and you need to back it by faith if you want to get something that you never had before. Okay. So, furthermore, another thing that Napoleon Hill says is that he says that you can convince your subconscious mind that you believe you will receive that for which you ask. Okay, your subconscious mind will act upon that belief and then pass it back to you in the form of faith, followed by definite plans for procuring that which you desire. Okay, so like we talked about, right? The more repetition, constant spaced repetition is how you truly believe that you can attain what it is that you want, right? You may not believe it right away the moment you write it down, and that's okay. That's the key here is constantly spaced repetition. Okay. So once you do convince your subconscious mind that you truly believe you can get what it is that you want, right? Your subconscious is going to send a direct telegram to infinite intelligence. And here is what happens, right? I'm gonna pace myself a little bit ahead because I've been reading this book a few times, but I just have to say it, right? When you send out a prayer to infinite intelligence, what comes back? Do you get the thing right away? Right? Do you get the car right away? No, it's not always the case like that. And for I'm not going to say 100% of the cases that it won't happen because you never know. Maybe there is a time where you can send out a prayer and literally a car or something that you want shows up right in front of you. But typically, what you get back when you send out a prayer that is fully blended with the vibration of thought known as faith, you will get definite plans back, right? So you're not going to get what it is that you want back. You're going to get definite plans back. And it is up to you to act immediately upon those definite plans so that you can. It's like God will give you the definite plans. It's up to you to act upon them if you want to get what you want. Right? That is what I'm trying to say here. That is what happens when you send out a prayer and you truly believe that prayer. You get definite plans back and you act on them, and that is how you get what you want. Okay? So, furthermore, he says that faith is a state of mind which you can develop at will after you have mastered the 13 principles in this book, right? What would it be like if you could develop this state of mind known as faith at will? Anytime you're like, okay, I want this thing. I need to believe because I've never been there before, right? I'm thinking of a goal that I've never achieved before. I'm gonna need faith. What would it feel like if you could develop faith or this state of mind at will? All right. And why is that the case? He says it's because it is a state of mind which develops through voluntarily application and use of these principles. Right. The only reason I'm talking about this a little bit more confidently than I have before is because I've been continuously going through this book and having conversations about it. That it's starting to make much more sense to me what Napoleon Hill was really saying in these chapters. But all the only reason I sound a little bit more confident than most people might is because it's the repetition of thought of these ideas. All right, you know, next paragraph. He says repetition or affirmation of orders to your subconscious mind is the only method of voluntary development of the emotion of faith. So repetition or affirmation of orders to your subconscious mind is the only method of voluntary development of the emotion of faith. Okay. Now he gives an example, right? And I'll say this: it's not a positive example, but it's a good analogy, right? Think about criminals for a second, right? First, it doesn't matter who they are. They're like crime. That's horrifying. That's horrible. I will never, ever, ever engage in something like that, right? Let's say it's a teenager that believes this way, right? Then next thing you know, when he first comes in contact to crime, he's totally like, oh, that is absolutely bad. But the more and more that he sees crime around him or that he's surrounded with crime, he starts to get into this point where he becomes accustomed to it. He understands that crime is everywhere, right? Then if he remains in contact with crime, and soon he'll get to a point where he actually is like, okay, this ain't actually that bad. And then the more and more that he gets involved in crime, he actually becomes influenced by it. He literally becomes a criminal himself, right? That is kind of the example that Napoleon Hill is given here, right? At first, you're like, crime that is absolutely horrible. I would never do that. Then the more that this individual may be around it, the more they'll be like, oh, this is fine, right? It's like this is just what they may be influenced by. So this is what we're trying to do. Instead of being a criminal, why don't we continuously be around more people with faith? So that at the point you're like, whoa, this conversation of faith, this is, not for me. Then you're around it more and more. You're like, okay, I can, withstand it. And then finally you're like, okay, now I'm truly being influenced by people that have faith in themselves. All right. Furthermore, Napoleon Hill says that this is the equivalent of saying that any impulse of thought which is repeatedly passed onto the subconscious mind is finally accepted and acted upon by the subconscious mind, which proceeds to translate that impulse into its physical equivalent by the most practical procedure available. All right. So any impulse of thought which is repeatedly passed to your subconscious mind is finally going to be accepted and acted upon by the subconscious mind, right? The secret to thinking real rich is that you got to take action. But the question is, okay, how do you actually get yourself to take action? Well, you got to be constantly influencing your subconscious mind in a positive way if you want to be taking positive actions, right? That's the key here. What we're doing is we're taking a conscious thought, which is our goal, and we're constantly repeating ourselves so that we plant that goal into our subconscious mind, and then by habit we'll take action on it. Okay, I know Think and Grow Rich is way deeper than that, but understand that if you want to, you got to take action. There's no question about that. But a lot of people are stuck in their ways, like myself included, where it was like we knew what we got to do, but we weren't doing it. So how do we influence that? Right? We got to plant the goal into our subconscious mind and develop true faith. Okay. Okay, now consider again this statement, right? Napoleon Hill says that all thoughts which have been emotionalized or given feeling and mixed with faith begin immediately to translate themselves into their physical equivalent or counterpart, right? All remember, there's another author. His name is Neville Goddard. He says that the feeling is the secret. Napoleon Hill here is saying that all thoughts which have been emotionalized and mixed with faith begin immediately to translate themselves into their physical equivalent or counterpart, right? When you truly have an emotionalized goal, a burning desire that becomes emotionalized with faith, right? All of a sudden, you know, you'll see that it's starting to translate itself into its physical equivalent, which is the goal. If you're properly planning the right thing that you want into your subconscious mind, you will see it come through. This is literally a law of nature, is what we're talking about here. Furthermore, he says that the emotions or the feeling purpose portion of thoughts are the factors which give thoughts vitality, life, and action. Okay? The emotions of faith, love, and sex, when mixed together with any thought impulse, give it greater action than any of these emotions can do singly. Right? Now, going back to those three emotions, right? The key is, can we blend the three so that we truly believe, what it is that we want? So I'm going to wrap it up soon. He says, it is only those thought impulses which have been mixed with faith, but those which have been mixed with any of the positive emotions or any of the negative emotions that can reach and influence the subconscious mind. Remember, keep in mind that this goes two ways. I know right now I'm only talking about planning the positive things and getting emotionally involved in the positive goal, but have you ever been really angry about something? Have you been really emotional about a thought in your mind that before you knew it, you were taking action and attracting that thought, right? For like, have you ever just you're not even thinking sometimes, right? Sometimes you get so angry and so upset and so emotional about something that you next thing you know you're taking action because of that anger, because of that emotion. And it's like, logically what you're doing is wrong. Maybe you're egging a car, or maybe you're, doing something destructive to someone's property, but logically what you're doing is wrong, but it's the emotion that carried you to do it, right? That's why they say the feeling is the secret. Okay. So, from that statement, you'll at least understand that the subconscious mind will translate into its physical equivalent of thought impulse of a negative or destructive nature just as readily as it will act upon thought impulses of a positive or constructive nature, right? Good or bad, if you get emotionally involved in an idea, you're gonna start taking action on that, right? The goal here, I'm pretty confident. Which would you rather want, to be taking action on good thoughts or bad thoughts, right? What would serve you better? All right. So let me wrap it up with this, right? Now, there's a lot of people out there. As a matter of fact, there's millions of people out there who believe that they are doomed to poverty and failure because of some strange force over which they believe they have no control, right? A lot of people go around and saying, like, why is this happening to me, right? Why does this always happening to me, right? They don't realize that they are in full control of their thoughts and are the reason that the bad things are happening to them, right? They don't realize that they are the creators of their own misfortune because they carry with them negative beliefs. Okay, so what I want you to do is really start to question your beliefs. Where does this stem from? And is this serving me? And is this accurate thinking? Right? I'm not saying you got to be thinking positive all the time. Oh, everything's grand and dandy, right? You got to be thinking accurate though, right? And there's There's multiple ways to be thinking accurate, and sometimes you have to question your own beliefs, right? Is this belief even true? Where did I get this belief from, right? What is the logistics behind this belief, and is this belief serving me to get what I want? Okay, so thank you for staying tuned into this conversation today. I'm gonna wrap it up right now because we're at that 20-minute mark, and I'm gonna continue on the conversation on faith tomorrow. So please stay tuned for that. Thank you all for joining. I really, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to watch this. And I'll leave you with this until we meet again in time and space. Bye, everybody, for now. All right.